story you are about to see is true. The names have been changed to protect the innocent.
Stay tuned. There's a gewaldige podcast. Rabbi Steve Geller does a gewaldige Zach, and that'll be coming out this week. Torah Giants on Chumash. Welcome to the weekly piece on the Parsha from Torah Giants on Chumash, written by Rabbi Yitzchak Meir Gurman. Sit back and enjoy.
Welcome to Torah Giants on Chumash. I'm Steve Geller. The theme for this week's piece by Rabbi Goodman is drama, and we have plenty of it. Our Parsha has many mitzvos, 74 in total, some more well-known than others. This includes the laws of the Bechor, the firstborn son. Let's take a look at our Parsha. These are 3 psukim that discuss some of the laws of the Bechor. If a man has 2 wives, one loved and the other hated, and they bear him sons, the loved one and the hated one, and the firstborn son will be the hated one's, when the day comes for him to will to his sons what he owns, he may not prefer the son of the loved one over the son of the hated one, the Bechor. Instead, he must accept the firstborn, the son of the unloved one, and allot him a double portion of all he possesses, since he is the first fruit of his vigor, the birthright is his due. And this makes perfect sense. When a man has 2 wives and both give birth to each his firstborn male, the one recognized as the man's Bechor when it comes to the double portion of the inheritance when he dies is the first son born, even if that firstborn is from a hated wife. And this makes sense. Here, the halacha is clear. The Bechor is the firstborn son of the father. Sometimes we look to our Rebbeim and Poskim in each generation to give us the halachic decisions for the more unusual cases that seem to fall in between codified laws. Follow me on this. There are always unusual situations where our holy Rebbeim have to figure out how to apply accepted halacha. These unusual cases often need further investigation. And when you need investigation, the best person to go to is an investigator.
Here is the emes, and only the emes. In Vilna, a man divorced his wife without realizing she was expecting.
He remarried, and his second wife bore a premature son before the first wife delivered a full-term son. The Gra was asked which of the 2 sons should be considered the firstborn. He said the answer is right here in our Parsha.
Legend has it that the Gra read a deeper meaning into our psukim as they pertain to this unusual case. Let's look closer at our psukim and see how the Gra applied it. If a man has 2 wives, one loved and the other hated, and they bear him sons, the loved one and the hated one, and the firstborn son will be the hated ones. The first of the 3 psukim mentions the 2 wives, each time mentioning the beloved wife first, then the hated wife second. Then the pasuk suggests, by repeatedly mentioning the beloved wife first, that just like our case, the beloved woman gives birth first, prematurely, to a son, and then the hated one gives birth to a full-term son. But after the unusual sequence in the psukim, first mentioning the beloved wife before the hated wife, then mentioning the beloved wife giving him the son before stating that the hated one gave him a son, the final of our 3 psukim confirms that he must accept the firstborn son of the unloved one and allot him a double portion, since he is the first fruit of his vigor, the birthright is due. And here is where the drama deepens. According to the Gra, applying our case to this pasuk, the hated wife's son becomes the Bechor even though he was born second, because he was conceived first. The Gra apparently holds that the Bechor is the one conceived first because he was the man's first strength. The response of every commentator of this alleged position of the Gra in this case has been unanimous in disagreement. In some cases, true to our genre, dramatically so. The halacha, according to the Shulchan Aruch, the Mishnah in Bechoros, the Rambam, all agree that the Bechor for inheritance is the man's first son that is born, not merely conceived. Rav Shlomo Kluger discusses this position by the Gra as heard from Rav Chaim of Volozhin and rejects it, ruling clearly that Bechor for inheritance goes by birth. Rav Yosef Shaul Nathanson also mentions this Gra, and as the others, sides with the first child born. Rav Emanuel Bernstein Shlita told me the Netziv is even more explicit, confirming the halacha goes by the one who was born first, and in the notes to that piece, the Netziv explicitly says, I don't believe the rumor cited in the name of the Vilna Goan. Falsehood was attributed to him. The Netziv says the Gra never said it. And Rev Bernstein told me I was entering a minefield just discussing it. And that adds another layer of drama to this whole situation. And before we're done, all of it will need to be unpacked. But think about this for a minute. If the Nitziv and Rav Nathanson and others go so far as to insist that the Gra never said that the Bechor for inheritance goes by the first conceived and not the firstborn, then I would ask, why are we even quoting the Gra's alleged opinion still today? Just considering the disrespect of falsely attributing a position to the Gra that goes against all accepted halacha, shouldn't Jews have avoided this opinion long ago? And yet here we are, discussing it again. Well, enter our Rav Eitan Feiner Shlita, who just today sent me a piece in the Imros Avraham by Avraham Moshe ben Yitzchak Ziskin. I'm going to put the whole thing on the screen, but we will quickly summarize its amazing solution to all three of our dilemmas, and does so spectacularly. You will never forget it. Of course, the Gra knew the halacha and agreed with it. The Bechor for inheritance is the first son born to the man not conceived. So what was the Gra referring to when he said the elevated status of Bechor was meant for the first son conceived by the hated wife, but who was the second son born? Before we see the answer, let's learn two well-known concepts of inventory accounting, FIFO and LIFO, meaning first in, first out, and last in, first out. On an assembly line, the first object into the line is the first object to come out of the line on the other end. This is FIFO, first in, first out. The other method, last in, first out, or LIFO, is how trucks are loaded with merchandise. If a truck is loaded with boxes and is making several stops, the first stop for the truck delivers the last boxes loaded onto the truck. Last in, first out. And according to Chazal, this is how the pregnant mother grows twins in the womb. The first fetus created is the last child delivered. There is a status to the second child born, created first by our Creator, a status acknowledging its spiritual created first status. And that special status is what the sefer Imros Avraham says the Gra was referring to. That is, another pair of sons, one hated, one beloved. And that would be Yaakov and Esav. Esav, who would be the hated one, was born first and was the Bechor. Yaakov, the beloved son, was born second. The Gra acknowledged that Esav was the Bechor and entitled to the extra portion of the material property. But according to Imros Avraham, the Gra also acknowledged that to Hashem, Yaakov, the second beloved son, was the Bechor of spiritual inheritance, kingship, priesthood, prophecy, the Torah, all of Hashem's Yerusha left to his beloved Bechor Yisrael. Only a mere second portion of material inheritance is given to the Bechor, to the firstborn. According to the Gra, the beloved son is also the Bechor, receiving Hashem's true inheritance. What a spectacular explanation that not only explains our psukim, but also explains the enduring misconception to a beautiful but enigmatic Gra. It's just perfect.
Not so fast, officer. There's more. There's more.
Rav Dov Eliach also tells us that the Vilna Goan is the one who noted that the Hebrew letters of the word Bechor are themselves a powerful clue to the status as the recipient of two shares. In gematria, the letters of the word Bechor equal 2, 20, and 200, each double the primary numbers of 1, 10, and 100. These are the only numbers that could represent such a dichotomy. I'm not going to say it. I will let you say it. There is nowhere you can find all of this amazing Torah in one place. I don't even have to tell you to like, subscribe, and share this video with friends and family. I know you realize how much they would thank you for it. Okay, I'd also like to thank the AI actors featured in this video, and I thought I would share with you some of the auditions for those roles that unfortunately we had to pass on.
Here is the Emmas, and only the Emmas. In Vilna, a man divorced his wife without realizing she was expecting. He remarried, and his second wife bore a premature son before the first wife delivered a full-term son. The Vilna Goan was asked which of the two sons should be considered the firstborn. He said the answer is right here in our parsha.
Ladies and gentlemen, we've got an incredible story from Vilna. A man divorces his wife, doesn't even know she's expecting, then remarries. Can you believe it? He ends up with two sons, one premature and one full term. The Vilna Goan, very smart guy, very wise, says the answer is right there in our parsha. It's all about timing, folks. Tremendous timing. Let's make wisdom great again. Trust me, it's fantastic.